Hi, my name is Peter Walker, and today's reflection is on that very stirring passage, Job 19:25 to 27. I know my Redeemer lives. Job, understood to be the oldest book of the Bible, and its genre is disputed a little bit, literal, figurative. Job, in the midst of this story, is in intense suffering. He has been stripped of family, friends. I mean, literally grief, loss. His family were brutalized, killed. His own body now is rotting in boils, and he is isolated, considered stricken by God. Really, I think of the messianic prophecy, Isaiah 53:4. We consider Jesus stricken by God. Job was considered stricken by God. Such was his plight and suffering. So counselors come to this man, and they are they're convincing people. They're sincere in heart, and they're trying to admonish him. They're trying to see a way of victory for him, but they are in fact off the mark, which we find out at the end. Job, in his anger, his dialogue with God, his distress, his suffering, in fact was tight with the Spirit of God. But what intrigues me about this scripture, right in the heart of this man's trial and tribulation, is he says, I know my Redeemer lives, and that in the end he will stand upon the earth. And after my skin has been destroyed, yet in my flesh, I will see God. I will see him with my own eyes. I and not another. How my heart yearns. Now listen, this is extraordinary. It's like madness. He in the heart of all of this, he is saying, I know my Redeemer lives. And usually most of us, when we suffer, that's exactly what we doubt, whether God lives or not. Job makes this statement, I know he lives, and that he's going to stand on the earth. So here we have the oldest book of the Bible, Job talking about the Redeemer standing like a man on the earth. It's almost blasphemous to the people in that time. To us who have seen and tasted Christ, we know that this was truthful, but no one then would have thought that God, seen even in a vision by man, to be standing on the earth. They would see this as kind of reducing God, dragging him down to your dirty level. So here Job is saying, I believe in God. I know he's going to stand on the earth. I know that in my flesh I'm going to see him, even if my flesh is destroyed. I mean, it's complete madness, and yet we know that we are going to be resurrected, given new bodies. He's correct, and God is going to make a new heaven and a new earth, and in our flesh, though our flesh is destroyed and dies, we will see God in our flesh with new eyes. And so Job, and he reinforces this madness. He says, after my skin has been destroyed, yet in my flesh I will see God. I will see him with my eyes. I mean, just in case any of y'all don't think I'm crazy, now you can be sure I'm serious about what I'm saying. In my flesh, the Redeemer who stands on the earth, I will see him. And in fact, my heart yearns for this. Now, this moment of Job's never came to fruition in his story, yet it is canonized. And we know that it is almost the highest expression of Job's vision, Job's truth, whatever about all the report of Job's suffering in his skin. This report that God would walk on earth and that we would see God with our eyes and that our hearts would yearn, and in that we would taste and see the provision of God. I think of Colossians 1:27, the mystery of God revealed in this, not just Christ in you, the hope of glory. Job caught this. He was in a realm of truth beyond truth, a truth that eclipsed his own truth and suffering in that moment. And it could never have been evidenced at that time, never have seen to come to fruition, but it was the truest of truths in his story. And we are called likewise to see these truths of God and to treasure them. Jesus said in Matthew 13:44, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who finds a treasure buried in a field, and he goes and sells everything he owns to buy that field, to protect that field. There's a treasure buried in it. People might not see it. We might lose sight of it, but it is there. We know it's there. And when we know it's there, we need to hold on and honor God with faith. Hebrews 11:6. Think of these people in Hebrews 11. It says some of them even refused release from prison and torture in order to gain a better resurrection. We would have thought they were crazy. But they are the ones canonized in the Faith Hall of Fame, Hebrews 11. They saw things we don't see, and they knew that life and suffering was even a price to be paid for this glorious vision that was going to be and is the portal to all eternity. That's why Moses says, Exodus 33:18, when all is said and done, even as his feet are still planted on this earth, he said, the highest thing, what I need from you, God, is to see your glory. I need to see it. That will give me hope. That will give me hope, a living hope. God bless you today.